I was talking to a friend recently and he's in his mid-30s and the conversation quickly steered towards buying a house. 5 to 10 kilometer radius from his office, not a very fancy one, but the prices that he mentioned are in the ballpark or upwards of at least 1.5 to 1.75 crore. Yes, for a 3 BHK flat in a 5 to 10 kilometer radius from the offices are in Hyderabad. Then again, the next point of the conversation was, he mentioned that he's looking forward to take a loan to buy this kind of an apartment, but the one single question he's asking himself and he asked me is, hey, what is our job stability looking like in the next 20 years? If I take a loan for 20-25 years, will I even have a job for the next 20 years to pay off the EMIs every single month? That's a very valid question because there are a lot of changes that we are noticing in the job market, and absolutely there is no guarantee what's going to happen. In the last 2 years, we have seen a lot of layoffs in our close circles, and there is absolutely no guarantee that we ourselves won't go through these layoffs anytime soon. Now, the financial decision with respect to buying a house depends on whether my job has any kind of stability versus not, and this is the reality of corporate employees in their 30s. Starting with young families and trying to settle down, but this uncertainty with respect to the job market holding them back with respect to a lot of decisions. Now, this is only the starting point though. The next immediate question is, how many hours are we working? His point was again very simple and straightforward. He is a developer in one of the big IT companies, not a services company, but a product company. And over the last 2 to 3 years, the expectations from somebody who has 10 years experience in the market has changed slowly. Well, it's a very soft change. Nobody is imposing that change, but if you don't take that, then your job is at risk. And what is it? You have to not just do development. You just not have to write code, but should also look into managerial aspects. That is, pushing 50-100 people on filling their timesheets, or pushing 50 people on how to upskill themselves, or you going and participating in recruiting, or you going and making sure that the delivery of the work is on the time, on the spot. And these are two separate roles. But now there is a soft mandate that is happening where employees are expected to pick up that portion of the work as well. So you are doing essentially two roles at the same time. And if you are not doing that, then somebody with 5 years, 7 years experience is ready to step up and do that role. Well, in your 30s, you are just starting your family, you are young, you have a young kid possibly, and you can't take up two job roles at the same time. And you can't even say no. Previously, before COVID, you could say that, hey, I'm not taking a 9 p.m. call. But now, if you say that, then somebody is ready to take up that 9 p.m. call and start building that rapport. So that's a question mark again. Now, the third issue is, once you start entertaining these things, obviously there is some kind of pressure on your personal relationships, whether with your life partner, your parents, your kids. Interestingly, I read a comment on my last YouTube video that somebody has mentioned they have spent 50 plus years in the corporate world, and unfortunately they didn't spend that time with their kids, and now looking back they don't have any kind of connection with their kids. That's pretty scary. And yes, we need to know why and what kind of trade-offs we are making. If you do make that trade-off, the reality could be that you would be hit very hard. On one side, there is a financial health issue. On the other side, there is a career health issue. You need to pick up more and more and more work. Add on top of that, there is a lot of uncertainty with respect to what's the changes in the technology front. And the third thing is your personal relationships health. If you look at the fourth thing, which is the uncertainty in the market, because a lot of big companies, Tesla recently announced layoffs, and they did lay off employees who joined in the last 6 months. So why did they hire people in the first place if they have to fire anyways? Because their strategy itself is changing drastically. Probably they take a big step forward and later only to realize that, hey, we can't commit such costs for that project. So they go back, and this is becoming a new norm. It's not just the individuals, but the companies themselves don't know what they are doing. You look at the biggest names in the entire hype of the COVID bubble for the edutech space. Amazon has launched their Amazon EduTech product. They have also launched B2B retail partnerships. And all these things have been shut down in less than 1 year. The teams, almost all of them are impacted and laid off. So you can see it's not just at a personal level, but even organization level, there are uncertainties, and that's ultimately impacting the individuals once again. So what do? The first thing is, let's at least talk about these things. This is real problem. There are very few solutions to them, but at least let's not brush off all these discussions under the carpet. Let's talk about them. Let's bring awareness about how each one of us are solving these problems. Financial health, career health, and also your personal relationships health. How are you maintaining? Do comment below if there are any things specifically that are working out for you, and let's learn from each other. And I want to share 3 things potentially that can help you out. The first one is with respect to the career health. I can't go and tell you that, hey, now start with the basics of AI course, or do a prompt engineering course, or attend this prompt engineering session. Why? Because at 30 years, 35 years of age, you already have 5-10 years of work experience, and they might not be relevant to what you are doing right now. So it's your job to identify what is that adjacent area where you need to upskill, and it is hard to find mentors for doing this. You need to filter out a lot of profiles on LinkedIn to see people who are probably 1 step or 2 steps ahead of you in the career path, and seek out support on what to do and how to approach it. This is a very personal journey, and yes, you need to invest time in this. That's how you safeguard your next 20-30 years of your career. The second one is with respect to the financial health. Now again, a simple fundamental logic. Make sure you are not compromising your financial health. You might say that, hey, this is a once in a lifetime decision, so I want to get almost everything right. I want to get into a gated community, or I want to stay close to the office, and I want to buy a nice apartment. All these things are good, but at the same time, what can give you more pressure is also if things go down south. A lot of people have also started noticing these things as people are just renting out apartments because they have that flexibility to move around, but they are buying a piece of land in their hometowns. Little lower on the price. Once you buy a land, there's appreciation potentially, which is potentially higher than the appreciation on a flat. And this also reduces a lot of mental pressure on you. And the third one is your personal relationships health. You need to keep a track of it. How are your family dynamics changing because you are working from 8:30 in the morning to 1 at night? If you don't even care about how the dynamics are changing, that's a big problem. You noticing this, you having a conversation with your partner could be a great starting point. Do let me know in the comments what else is working for you, and let us at least start learning, implementing from each other, and have this open dialogue going. Thank you so much, guys. If you like the video, do share it in your network. See you again in the next one. Bye bye.